So I'll be sharing the moʻolelo of Kumu Kahau hiʻaalaka, which is a story that takes place in Kaʻū on Hawaii Island. The reason why I chose it is because the moʻolelo itself has so much lessons within it that I just love, and I love to share it with my haumana. So the moʻolelo of Kumu Kahau hiʻaalaka follows Ku, as he's a lawaiʻa, as he's a fisherman down in the ʻāina of Kaʻū on Hawaii Island. While down there living by the kai, he is living there with his wife, just the two of them. They don't share any kids. Ku does have a sister, known as Kaʻū. She lives mauka of Kaʻū in a place known as Olaʻa. And in Olaʻa, she is there with her kane, with her husband, and their mahiʻai. And between the two of them, they have many children. And so while up there, they're farming. Meanwhile, by the kai, Ku is fishing. And so the agreement between the two of them is that they would trade. Kaʻū, she would come down with her vegetables. Ku, he would offer up his fish. And so they would trade amongst the two. However, one day, the agreement kind of switches up. Ku entrusts his wife to take upon this trading agreement. And so Ku tells his wife, here's the fish I've collected. My sister, Kaʻū, she's gonna come on by, just hand over the fish to her, and in replacement, she'll hand over the vegetables for us. The wife says, yes, can do, he can know, not a big deal. And so Ku, he's like, all right, goes back to fishing, goes back to the kai. And so here comes Kaʻū making her way down to Kaʻū, the kai area. When arriving, she has her vegetables in hand. She made the trek down, ready to trade with the wife. However, when she arrives, the wife says, we don't have any fish. All we have is salt. If you take a look for yourself, we have nothing in the hale. And so Kaʻū, she takes a look, looks about, doesn't see anything. And so she's kind of confused. She's kind of wondering what happened to the fish. This has been an agreement. We've been doing this for so long. Nonetheless, she hands over the vegetables. She leaves the vegetables with the wife. In replacement, she takes the salt that the wife says that they only have. And then she takes her upon herself to go collect some coarse seaweed in replacement of the missing fish and returns back home. The wife of Ku, she actually went ahead and she hid the fish. Hid the fish under the sleeping mat. And so when Kaʻū came, that's why she didn't see anything. And so another day comes, Ku once more again entrusting his wife to trade the fish that he caught, and he returns to the kai to continue his fishing. Kaʻū once again bringing her vegetables down, making the trek from Mauka, returns to Ku's hale. When Kaʻū arrives to the hale, Ku's wife says, we still don't have any fish. As you can see, all we have is salt. There's nothing in the hale. Kaʻū, still confused into what's going on, agrees to just take the salt. She leaves the vegetables with the wife, and she leaves once more again to go and collect coarse seaweed for her husband and her kids. And so days go on. This occurrence of there not being any fish left behind for Kaʻū continually happens. And so one day, after many times of not receiving any fish in return, Kaʻū makes the trek down with her vegetables. The wife, once more, says, we have nothing. And so once more again, Kaʻū arrives empty-handed back at home. When her kane and her kids are running out to welcome her, what she does is she gives them each a slap. When she slaps them, each and every one of them turns into a rat, and then herself turns into a loko or a pond. Meanwhile, while Ku is at the kai and he's fishing, he's not aware of what's going on. He's not aware of his wife not trading and giving up the fish that he's been catching. He's not aware of her hiding it under the sleeping mats. However, while fishing, a god gave him an image, gave him a sign of what was actually happening and going down back at home. He returns home, returns to his wife, and approaches her. Have you been trading with our sister? The wife is like, yeah, well, this is something that we've been doing for how long? Of course I have. Ku, obviously knowing the truth, being sent a message by the gods, he looks under the sleeping mats, he lifts them up, and is revealed all this fish. When Ku finds out the secret about his wife's stinginess, it doesn't quite end well for her, but we see Ku leaving. And he leaves to go check in on his sister in Olaʻa. And so he makes the trek up Mauka, and when he arrives at the sister's hale, he sees there just rats scampering about. Not only just rats, he also sees this big loko, this big pond right in the middle as well. And so immediately he knew that his sister Kaʻū, as well as her ohana, had transformed into these multiple things. And so he himself, with great sadness, seeing that his sister is gone and no more, he takes it upon himself to dive straight in, head first, into the loko, into the pond. Upon him diving into the waters, we see this hiʻaalaka tree grow out of the local, out of the pond. And so Ku is from this instance, he becomes Kumu Kahau hiʻaalaka, in that he turns into this ohia tree now found in Ola'a. This ohia lehua tree is known to only bear 2 blossoms to this very day. Within this ʻāina at that local in Ola'a that Kaʻū Kuahine turned herself into, fine rain fell, and it still continues to fall till this day. What's also important about this ohia lehua tree is that if you were to pluck off a branch, at the part where you pluck the branch off, blood will flow from the tree. And so I enjoy this moʻolelo so much because it offers many, many ha'awina within just a short moʻolelo itself. The first ha'awina that I take out from this is that mauka to makai relationship. Matter of fact that those mauka are usually the farmers. They're usually the ones collecting vegetables. The ones kai, they're the ones collecting all the fish. But it talks upon the old ahupua'a system of trading. Those mauka trades with those by the kai trades with those mauka. Another lesson that this moʻolelo teaches us is a little insight into what our akua looked like. And so ku, as we know, is an akua kane of ours here in Hawaii. But this moʻolelo, it talks upon the matter of fact that sometimes our akua just lived everyday lives. Ku taking upon the responsibilities as a lawai'a, as a fisherman, shows that other side to him rather than just being this war god that we always talk and see him as. Another moʻolelo that I take out from this is, of course, the lesson of don't be greedy, don't be stingy. Again, these types of moʻolelo were created by our kūpuna for us to learn such basic core values of what it means to be Kanaka, to be Hawaiian, but also how to just interact with one another. You can listen to this story without even going to Kaʻū ever in your life, and you will know that above Kaʻū, in a place known as Ola'a, there's actually a pond, and there's a big ohia tree. My kūpuna, they're from the Kaʻū area. However, me myself, Maui boy, I'm not very ʻāina to that ʻāina in Kaʻū. And so it's through these types of moʻolelo where that type of pilina is able to be fostered in a way, in that I'm getting to know that ʻāina that my kūpuna once were standing on. And so when it comes to our haumana, when it comes to their interests to learn moʻolelo and keep moʻolelo flourishing, it comes down to what are they connected to? What is their pilina? How are they going to attach themselves to something or to a certain moʻolelo? What this moʻolelo provides is that pilina, that connection to that ʻāina, and therefore ideally to my kūpuna.